Hey, welcome. We've all been there, right? You set a new goal, you know exactly what you need to do to make your life better, and then you just don't do it. Why is that? Well, it turns out the answer isn't about willpower. It's one of the coolest secrets hidden inside our own heads, and today, we're going to uncover it. I mean, it's the ultimate paradox. We fight tooth and nail against the very things that could make us healthier, happier, you name it. So what's the deal? Are we just lazy? Do we lack willpower? Well, neuroscience has a pretty clear answer to that. Nope. The real reason is way more interesting. Okay, take a look at this number. 1 in 9. On its own, it doesn't seem like much, right? But trust me, the story behind this number, it's actually pretty shocking. It shows just how incredibly powerful our resistance to change really is, even when our lives are literally on the line. That's right, get this. After going through a life or death, major heart surgery, only about 11% of people, 1 in 9, actually managed to make lasting changes to their diet and exercise. Just think about that for a second. Even with the most powerful motivation you can imagine, the huge majority just slides back into their old patterns. And that's not a failure of character, it's a feature of our biology. So that right there, that's what we call the change paradox. And what we're about to see is that this struggle, it's not really a conscious choice we're making. It's this deep, deep conflict that's hardwired into our brains. So here's the big takeaway, the thing you really gotta get. Your brain is literally designed to resist change. It's a survival mechanism that's been perfected over millions of years. And once you really understand that, you can finally start working with your brain instead of constantly fighting against it.
All right, so let's dig into the first big reason why change is so tough. And it all comes down to one thing: efficiency. Your brain is obsessed with saving energy, so it loves to run on autopilot. And it achieves this using something called cognitive bias. A cognitive bias is basically a mental shortcut. Think of it like this. You drive the same way to work every single day, right? You don't pull up a map and calculate the most optimal route every morning. Your brain does the same thing with, well, pretty much everything. It's super efficient, but here's the catch. These shortcuts make us automatically stick with what's familiar.
And that leads to a couple of really powerful biases that are always working against us when we try to change. First, there's the status quo bias, which basically means whatever we're doing right now just feels safer and better than trying something new. And then you've got loss aversion, which is like a superpower in our brains. We feel the sting of losing something about twice as strongly as we feel the joy of gaining the exact same thing. So any change, even a good one, can feel like a loss, and our brain just slams on the brakes.
And this chart perfectly breaks down the two parts of your brain that are basically at war here. On one side, you have the prefrontal cortex. That's your conscious thinker. It's thoughtful, it handles new problems, but it burns a ton of energy. On the other side is the basal ganglia. That's your autopilot. It's where all your habits live, it's fast, automatic, and uses almost no energy. So which one do you think your brain would rather use all day long? And this quote just nails it. Trying to change a deep-seated habit is exactly like forcing your brain to drive a stick shift when it's only ever known and automatic. You're yanking control away from that easy, effortless basal ganglia and giving it to the clunky, energy-hungry prefrontal cortex. No wonder it feels so draining and even a little bit scary.
Okay, so it's not just about our brains being lazy energy misers. The discomfort of change, it actually goes a lot deeper. We're about to see how your brain is wired to see change not just as an effort, but as an actual physical threat.
See, your brain is this incredible prediction machine. All day long, it's running in the background, constantly checking if what's happening in the world matches what it expects to happen. And the second there's a mismatch, the moment something unexpected happens, bam! It sounds this incredibly loud, primitive alarm bell.
So, let's look under the hood at that alarm system. First, a part of your brain called the orbital frontal cortex spots the error. Think of it like a check engine light flashing on your dashboard. That light immediately triggers the amygdala. That's the brain's ancient fear center. And the amygdala basically stages a coup. It hijacks your body's resources, pulling energy away from your smart, rational prefrontal cortex. This is exactly why a little unexpected change can make you feel suddenly anxious, emotional, or want to do something impulsive.
So, what does this all boil down to? The bottom line is this. On a physiological, biological level, change is pain. Your brain literally interprets the new and unfamiliar as a genuine danger to your survival. All right, I know this sounds kind of bleak, right? Our brains are hardwired to fight change because it's tiring and it feels like a threat. So, are we just doomed to stay the same forever?
Well, here's the amazing part. The really good news. Our brains are not set in stone. They are literally built to adapt. And this incredible power is called neuroplasticity. It just means that your brain has the ability to reorganize itself, to form new connections throughout your entire life. Every time you learn a new skill or repeat a new behavior, you are physically rewiring your own brain. This is the biological mechanism of change, and it's proof that we are all built to grow and adapt.
Okay, that's awesome, but how do we actually do it? How do we take the wheel and direct this rewiring process? Well, the key is actually super simple, though that doesn't always mean it's easy. It all comes down to where you choose to place your attention. The real power is in your focus.
And this is what scientists call self-directed neuroplasticity, which is just a fancy way of saying that you get to decide how your brain changes. When you repeatedly and purposefully focus on a new way of thinking, you are literally strengthening its neural circuit. They call this attention density. The more you focus on something, the more you physically change your brain's structure, making that new pathway stronger, wider, and more automatic over time. So this brings us to the really practical stuff. Now that we know we can consciously reshape our own brains just by using our focus, what are the most effective strategies? How do we make change actually stick? So here's the game plan based on what we know about the brain. Number 1, focus on solutions, not problems. When you dwell on what's wrong, you're just making those old, unhelpful brain circuits stronger. Focus on what you want to build instead. Number 2, generate your own insights. You know that aha moment, that little spark when you figure something out for yourself, that gives your brain an energizing rush that helps lock in the new connection. And number 3, use gentle, consistent reminders. It's not about forcing it. It's about repeatedly and gently bringing your focus back to the new way of being. That repetition is what hardwires the new habit for good. So in the end, the secret to real, lasting change isn't about gritting your teeth and using brute force willpower. It's about being smart. It's about understanding your brain's natural wiring, its desire for efficiency, and its fear of the unknown, and then using a tool like focused attention to gently guide it toward a new reality. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Your brain isn't your enemy in this process. It's this incredibly powerful tool just waiting for your direction. The question isn't if you can change. You absolutely can. The real question is, what are you going to do with that power? So, knowing your brain is built for this, what new pathway would you choose to build first?